Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the High Grounds podcast and today's morning minute meditation. Glad you tuned in today. And just to give you a little simple thought, rant, whatever you want to call it, out of the Word of God today. Something I see that's very alarming and very disturbing in a lot of churches today, and just about every church, I dare say there's this problem, is a lack of respect for God's house and God's day and for God himself in that matter. A lot of us don't show God the respect he deserves when we get down to it. I don't do it. You don't do it. None of us can ever show God the respect he deserves. But especially in particular, it's concerning how little respect we show in the house of God for that matter. The average Christian, let's just admit, we walk into the house of God, we don't treat it with any more respect than we would the local McDonald's. And we're just very carefree and we're just, going our own way when we go into the house of God. Now, it didn't always used to be this way. I remember, a story one time about a man back in the day, whether this story's true or not, but I don't know. But it's a good story. Back in the day, Charles I put out a royal decree to all the clergy that they were supposed to read to all their people, a written decree that they should return to sports on the Sabbath day. And, of course, a lot of the clergy declined the idea and the offer. But one man in particular, a good, holy, respectable man that had a good reputation as a man of God, he decided he would read it to his congregation, much to their shock. And he did read it, but at the end he added these words, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." And then he said something to this effect, "Now, I've read to you the commandment of your king and the commandment of your God. Now it's up to you which one of them you're going to obey." And, as I said, we really don't have respect for the house of God. People used to. As a matter of fact, Jonathan Edwards, that great man of God that passed on many years ago, he said, I'm not going to make a joke. I'm not going to say anything sportive. I'm not going to say anything lightheartedly on the Lord's day. I'm not going to do it. And he was talking about the Lord's day. He wasn't even talking about being in the house of God. And yet when we walk into the house of God, we're talking all the dribble of the world. And really just two, I can't talk about everything, but just two little things I would encourage us to look at going to the house of God. I see there are very much problems today in respect. One is when we stay up too late Saturday night doing whatever it is we're doing, or allowing children. I see this a lot of time in young people. Parents allow their children to stay up late playing games, watching movies, doing whatever kids do. And they walk into the house of God, and the parents, the children, or both of them can't keep their heads up to listen to the sermon or worship God, because they've been so conked out by the previous night and they just can't show God the respect he deserves. And number two, so often, I said earlier, we walk into church, we talk all the dribble of the world, and I'm very guilty of this. All of us are guilty of doing this, but why is it that we have the entire week to talk about the things of this world, which really not much to talk about there, but we have the whole week to talk about all the things of this world, and we can't even, when we walk to the house of God, just talk about the things of God for an hour and a half or so? What's the average church service run? Look, I know respect, what the idea of respect is going to vary from person to person, but at the bottom line, God deserves respect. He deserves our respect. We should show it to him, but the question is, are we willing to do so? It's a simple thought, but I do hope you have a blessed day.